tell me one of your favorite stories that you remember of Adam when he was growing up.
Well, we were discussing that on the way up, and my favorite, and what I remember the first was when he was about 5 or 6. We were building a house, and he was out there in his little red coat carrying buckets full of cement to fill in holes and stuff like that. And then as he got older, it was first time he was able to drive the combine, and teaching him how to drive a pickup. He says, well, I've never had a lesson, so I jumped on the running board, and I says, okay, put it in gear. We're going to have a lesson right now. And we went around the yard, and I says, okay, you've had your lesson, now follow me, and we took off. But that was my two favorite things that I remember him as growing up.
Why was that really significant to you?
Because of his love for the farm and wanting to do things that he could help with.
Has he always been like just very helpful?
Oh, very, very farm oriented. That's all he thought about all of his life was farming. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, and you was saying as far as the accordion playing that he's done at National FFA convention and different things.
Yeah. How did Adam introduce you to Molly, or when did you first meet Molly?
Oh, when did we first meet her?
I don't remember that.
I remember when they came to the house and told us they were engaged.
They just came and told you they were engaged?
Yes, yeah, they parked out in front and they were walking towards the house, and she kept fidgeting with her hand, and I told him, I said, oh, she's engaged, and that's how we were told.
Mm-hmm.
What did you, so you don't remember the first time you met Molly then?
Not really.
Not specifically, not.
He had always talked about her.
Mm-hmm.
What would he say about her?
Oh, just different things. He was up here helping make sausage and different things, and being around her family and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so we kind of knew the family in a way through other acquaintances. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't remember that. But I remember the day that they announced that they were engaged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you knew, like, at that point, hey, she's going to be around.
Right.
She's
Mm-hmm.
part of the family.
Oh, and perfect match. Perfect match for each other, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Can you tell me of some of your favorite stories from when you were both younger of the farm, right? And what farming kind of represents to you guys. And obviously, it's big in the family, right?
Yeah. Well, we're Adam would be the 5th generation on a lot of the farm ground that's being farmed right now. So it's one of those things that I was the same way when I was growing up. Now, Grandma, she lived in Sterling, so she was never on the farm until after she got married to me. So, but me growing up on the farm, I was out working in the fields after school and all that kind of stuff too. I didn't like to be sitting in the house. I was always outside doing something.
Outside on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what does Adam mean to you?
He was our first grandchild. Very special with that. He and I would go out in the tractor when we were cutting wheat or out in the field, and basically taught him how to drive out there. I think he was, what'd you say, 6 or 7 years old when he first started driving the combine.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very young. He's an old soul.
Old soul.
Old
Yep.
soul. Yeah. I enjoy his accordion playing, even though he refuses to play accordion anymore, but he music's important to me, to both of us, but to me, and that's what I will remember with him as far as his accordion playing and just the talent that he's got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Any advice that you would love to give to the couple?
Communication. Talk. Be friends.
Be friends.
Mm-hmm. Always be friends. You're going to have arguments. You're going to have fights. There's times where you just have to shake your head, just walk away.
But keep the lines of communication open. That's the biggest thing right there.
Just love each other, And I think they're going to have a great life together, and we're very pleased and happy for both of them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any last words you guys have? Anything else?
Just excited for them.
Yes. Yeah.
Ready to bring the 6th generation of farmers?
When it's time,
When it's
in their time.
Okay.
I know Molly keeps getting teased about it, but enjoy each other first, and they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So tell me one of your favorite stories of Adam growing up.
You start.
Oh, he just, ever since he was little, he just loved to be with the guys because he wanted to farm just like his dad, just like his grandpa, Papa Dave, and his great-grandpa, Papo, we called him. So, he just always wanted to be with them, have coffee breaks, cookie breaks, and all that fun stuff. So.
And he's, even to this day, he'll run to the window almost whenever he hears a tractor going by. I remember when he was little, we had a bay window in the living room, and we had hot water heater register underneath it. And every time there was something that went by, he would stand on that hot water register and look out the window. When he was about that big, just so he could peek over the top of the window, just to see who was going by. And he knew all the neighbors. He knew everybody that was going by. He knew where they were going, probably, and what they were doing. And that was just him.
That was just Adam. Okay. How did Adam introduce you to Molly?
Well, he brought her to church, and so she showed up to church, and we got to meet her before we went in and sat down, and she was just a sweetheart. Right away I was like, this could be something. I was like,
Well, she worked so hard to try and impress us, and she didn't need to.
What did she do?
Well, I remember, when I first saw her, her hair was done up all pretty and perfect, but she brought up a carrot cake, which was Evelyn's recipe, and it was so good. And but I remember, it was, I don't know if it was the first time or if it was a couple times after that she had come up. They were out doing chores together because it was in the wintertime, and we were out doing chores, and Adam and Molly were in the tractor together, and Adam was driving, and there was a time when I looked through the cab and I seen Molly look at Adam, and
it was just sweet.
Yeah.
It was, you could tell.
The way that she had looked at him.
yeah, I could tell that something was real. And
What does Adam mean to you as his parent?
Well, he made me a mommy, so that was special. So
yeah.
just a fun-loving boy, and
Well, I guess we work together on a daily basis. So it's more than just a parent-son relationship. It's at times it's stressful, but it's definitely a friendship. It's a lot of mutual respect, a lot of fun times, a lot of stressful times. But that's
part of farming.
that's part of farming. That's what we do.
Tell me about the farming and what impact it has in your family. I know it's a big part of your family. Right?
Yeah, we. I think Adam's kind of the historian. He said it was in, I think, 1936 or so when it'd be my great grandfather moved into the community, and from then on it's just been that's what we do. yeah, I guess I worked away from the farm for a few years as the kids were growing up, and you know, just to help pay bills and to make it work. And then I was able to come back and work more into it. But it's only possible with Adam's help. And it's the only way we can make it work.
Last question. Do you have any advice to the couple?
Well, just enjoy spending time together and don't take each other for granted. Pray together, laugh together. Just.
Yeah. Time goes so fast.
Definitely.
And I guess I'm seeing that more and more all the time. I can't believe how emotional I'm getting because I'm so damn tired. That was a snort.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, just enjoy the time.
Yeah.
Because you never know how quick it goes and how fast things can change.
Definitely. So
Any last words that you want to say?
we're just so happy for them that they found the best friend that they could ever have, and you know that God brought them together. And just so.
Yeah, this is definitely a God thing. You know, just like Bev and I, you know, we city girl, farm boy,
Yeah.
met in Washington, D.C., you know, Adam and Molly, first day college. And, you know, the things they've been through, just respect that. Keep that in mind all the time.
Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm not completely sure on the timing of this, but it was, I mean, it had to be at least back in the 50s or so, maybe before, but this is our biggest main headquarters farm still. And my granddad, well, let me just go back a little bit. My great-granddad homesteaded in 1908. My granddad was born in 1909. He kind of did a lot of building growing up and stuff, or building of the farm, getting land, and did a lot of trading. And there's one guy that a really good friend of him named Cordell Richardson, that it was said that they traded about everything but their wives. And this was actually part of what Cordell might have put together, but then my granddad traded for it. And so I'm not exactly sure on the timing, but anyway, you can see how little the trees are now, and if you go by it now, they're huge. You know, so it obviously has some time in it. Anyway, we're blessed to have grown from this stage to where we are now, and to have this as part of our family, our family farm. So.
And how long has this farm been in the family since?
Oh, maybe not specifically this one, so I don't know exactly when they traded for it, but I mean, we've been, Granddad's been my granddad was, farming since he was, probably, he was born in 1909, and so then, he's probably add to that 15, 20 years, and he kind of kept it going. But I mean, my great-granddad started before that, so, it's been well over 100 years. So.
Do you have any stories of any of those pictures?
No, just some of my equipment of my granddad's that he used to farm with. He used to really like his caterpillars, so that's what this is, pulling what I think they used to call it a tool carrier. Anyway, he was farming with that. We have some pictures back when he farmed a lot back when they did it the hard way, with the shocking the wheat and running through a threshing machine and stuff like that. And so it's I'm trying to talk about some different other ones. I think this was part of the tradition. Was that, I guess they're working on a breakdown there, but I don't know, we've just always, it's been good to work together. But you look at this as an old, I think a Massey Ferguson 510 to what we can currently run is 6088 Case IHs that we kind of evolved into GPS, auto steer, pretty amazing stuff compared to what they used to have to farm with. So yeah, that's just a picture of holding the wheat. And I mean, the family has evolved a wheat seed business, and that's something that we're have really evolved. But probably what we do most as a couple, as a family with our girls, is doing the cattle, and that's what we enjoy the most, and been blessed by it. They've been able to be able to herd, but also the girls showing cattle has been a big part of the fabric of our lives. So.
Okay, that's a lot. That was a lot. Okay, so let's take those out, and then now I'll just. Oh, sorry. Oh. Hey, you're fine. I was gonna grab the picture.
Okay,
so yeah, we'll just have to sit back. Yeah, people forget all the time that they have these on.
Okay.
So we're good. Okay. Now I'll ask questions about Molly and Adam. Okay. Tell me one of your favorite stories of Molly growing up.
She was a feisty little girl, and you always kind of knew what she thought. She wasn't afraid to give somebody that she didn't like a dirty look, and but as sweet as can be at the same time. So I don't know. Do you have anything?
I don't know, not specific stories. I mean, she when she was a baby, she was even just strong-willed enough where she didn't want to do something. She headbutted Grandma Evelyn and gave her black eyes.
And if you tried to push her too much, she would tell you,
Stop.
But she's so motivated, so disciplined, so organized, and she grew up to be just a great girl. Easy to raise for the most part, and like Jeff said, some of our biggest and happiest memories were when she was showing her cattle, because she loved showing, and she was really good at it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
Lack of sleep.
Weddings, the whole wedding planning. What did you think when you first met Adam?
Oh, we thought it was really nice. We got to meet him. We heard about him a lot the first year they were in college, and she would talk about him and different things, and then we finally got to meet him, or I did the first time. And the first time that we met him, my older daughter was with us, and she goes, Molly should just marry Adam. She should just marry him. And so we've joked about that a lot in the last year, because he was so nice that day and helped her move out of her dorm room and helped us carry the heavy stuff, and yeah.
Very gentleman-like.
Yes.
Very gentleman-like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very clean-cut kid. If I can call him a kid, I don't know. I guess I'm going to. But and I just want to say this, and before you judge me for what I say, I kind of thought that he was very clean-cut, but a little bit corny. Like me. So that's how I'm gonna add to that remark, because I could relate with him, and so I thought that was good. I mean, I thought we usually hit it off whatever we did, hanging out. When he would come out here and help us with the different farm stuff. I mean, it was like, he had a lot that it was just neat. He had good experience on a good farm with a good family, with a lot in common, so it's good.
What does Molly mean to you?
She's our world. Our girls are our world. We just are so blessed to have both of them, and they're such good kids. We'd just do anything for him.
Yeah, the pride wells up in us when we talk about them both. But for Molly, I'm proud of her. Her self-driven, self-disciplined, uncontrolled. Admire how her devotion to her family and also to her God, and know that that's what's going to keep her going. She's going to be blessed through it, and we're excited what they're able to share together down those lines.
Okay, last question. Any advice to the couple?
Pray together. Start your day by praying. End your day by praying.
Yeah, I think they're doing that now. Keep on doing what you're doing, but continue to make it better. Continue to draw closer and develop your relationship together with each other and with Him. And He's told us He's never going to leave us. He's never going to forsake us. And all they have to do is, when things get a little hairy, look back and see, did He ever drop the ball? No. Is He ever going to let it? No, He's not. So trust in Him, and always keep your communication with each other and with Him strong and open.
Okay, any last words that you guys want to say?
I think we're good.
Okay.
All right.
Not too thinking.
Yep. Are you sure we're okay on time for?
There's that camera. That camera's going. This is the next one.
Is my glasses going to be,
You look amazing right now.
it doesn't bother the,
No, you look great. Okay, so if you have a photo.
well, I got some others at home I didn't get. You want to see these close up?
Yes,
or?
I will zoom into them later. I just
Okay.
want you to kind of show them
Okay.
right now.
And I'll take your
Well,
tissue.
this, I used to run tractor.
Evelyn, I'm going to take your tissue, unless you need it.
No, I don't think I will. Well, this is little Molly here, and this is me. I used to run the tractor, and we'd sit there, and she'd sit on a bucket or something. We'd say ABCs or 1, 2, 3, or different games that we played on the tractor while we was working the ground. So, and this picture's when we took harvest dinner out. We always took harvest dinner to the fields, and this is when she got a little older, but that's my husband there. We were married 61, just about 62 years when he passed away. And this is Molly here. So Molly and Sarah was serving the dinner out of the back of the vehicle. We used to have hot casseroles, pies, hot, cold tea, and took them a hot dinner every day to the field, and they'd stop and eat, and we'd go home and start again.
Do you have any more photos there?
I don't have any right here with me, but I had some at home. We didn't stop. I went to get my hair done, but didn't stop at the place because it's hard to get in and out.
Right.
Because of my hip, I can't put my weight on my leg to speak of. But what is the question?
Oh, I just wanted you to tell me
Okay.
about the photos.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I had a photo at home with the two grandmas and Molly, and that's been recent. And then, through the years, pictures with their cattle, and we always enjoyed watching the kids in their cattle shows, and they was in 4-H and FFA. And you're not recording this now, right?
I am.
Oh, I shut up then.
No, it's fine. It's
You
really
delete
just-
it? But it started out, she was born, and we went to see her in the hospital in Longmont, and got home and watched them grow, and then she'd come up, and Amy would help Grandma Pauline, which is Jeff's grandma, and I was down there, and she'd have a little blanket, and she put it in front of a heater. It was a heater on the floor that the warm come out, and she'd put her toys there and play with that. That was memorable. Then they got a little bit bigger, and she had 2 cousins, twin cousins, and they're just a little bit older than she is. And I'd babysit all 3 of them, and then Grandma was in a wheelchair then, so we had to lock the kitchen door for a little bit, but they just was kind of wild when they played together, and then they settled down. And then they got a little older, and we had a bedroom upstairs at Grandma's house, and the three of them and me would take a nap in a king-size bed upstairs, and I think I'd go to sleep first. And then Sarah, she was just a little bit older, so when I was babysitting there, I think she was probably in kindergarten or whatever. And they kept going. They did their 4-H projects, home ec, and then the cattle, and through the years, and then school activities. So, always busy.
Tell me, so you and your husband were farmers?
Yes, I met. We knew each other since the 1st grade, and when we went to school. We went to the schoolhouse, a church down there. That's where we had school when we were 6 years old, and then we went there. And then Vern went to Prospect a couple years. I went to Wiggins, and then he moved to Wiggins later. And then we were married young, and then we had 4 children, and Jeff's the 4th one. So time just moves on. So we started buying land, I think, in about 62 when Vernon graduated from college. I went to business college a year. Vernon went to CSU, and then I moved up to CSU and worked at the sugar factory, and he was in school, and then we'd go home on weekends and help on the farm. And so we always worked together with his mom and dad and family. And we had pigs for a while, and then we had cattle, and still have cattle. Jeffrey mostly takes care of them now. So we milk cows, and I can remember, well, this was when I was home yet. Went to high school. We'd carried in a 5 or 10 gallon cream can milk from the barn, and then we'd separate it. And you have to turn that separator just right to get the right amount of cream and whatever. And then what we didn't use, we'd give to the pigs or whatever, and we'd take the cream to town and eggs, and maybe we'd have a hamburger, which was a treat. But then when Vern and I was married, then we had a cow. We had milk by hand, and so we did our own milk for a long, long time. And so Molly, she didn't help too much she did her thing. Like, she worked with her cattle always, and their 4-H and their school and school activities always. And then she's an FFA, and she was Angus Queen for a couple years, and her mom was a Angus Queen for that, I think, at one time. So Molly's helped with the shows, the cattle shows, and sell her calves. Then she went to CSU and was active there.
Do you remember when you first met Adam?
Well, I don't know if it's the first time. I remember one time when we had a carrot cake. We went over to a Cajun boil, and we come home with Molly's grandma and me, and Adam and Molly, we each had a fork, and we ate it out of a dish together. So that was one time. And another time, Molly's grandma, Anderson, lived close, and they come up and stole me and took me back down to his mom, and Molly and Adam come and help steal me, I think, with the nephew, and they thought that was funny. But then Adam played his accordion. I think that was the time we had the carrot cake. My husband played accordion, and I loved the accordion, and he looked at it and he said, "This is a nice accordion." told me where it was made, and he played a few songs in it. So Ruth and I really enjoyed that. And then we've seen each other different times after that. We liked Adam. He was a nice guy. So.
What's one of your favorite memories of Molly when she was young?
That's hard to say. All the time growing up, from the time they're a baby till they reach adulthood, you can see them mature. But when she used to sit around the fire in the kitchen there, and just the heat, wasn't a fire, but just the heat come up, and her little blanket. Another time was a harvest, and Molly wasn't too old, and then her cousin Kelsey, a few years older, and they were doing harvest dishes together, and she was standing on a little stool or something to help with dishes. It's a lot more fun when you're young to do dishes than when you get older. And then showing her cattle, that was always the favorite, and doing her 4-H and FFA projects, and so.
Do you have any advice for the couple?
To be patient with each other, and always maybe give 100%, or maybe 105%, who's right and who's wrong. So I think they make a great couple, and they both have some interest, and love them both. I know my Papa Vernon, he would be very proud. I wish he could be here for this moment. But he died 3 years ago about.
He never met Adam?
I don't remember if he ever met Adam or not. So, sometimes they have friends, and then they become more than friends. And so I can't remember for sure.
Any last words that you would like to say or anything?
Well, one thing they're going to do is they both collected some dirt from the different areas on each farm, and Molly from different fields in our place, and Adam from different fields where he lives, and they're going to, instead of lighting the candles and stuff, they're going to pour the dirt together, so it'll be the soil, So that's interesting, and just pray for their blessing, and trust God, and pray, and love one another.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You bet. We'll just set it there. I'll put it by my copy.
Okay. And you are Adam's grandfather.
Yes,
Okay.
I got my ears turned up as much as I.
Okay. Can you tell me one of your favorite stories of Adam growing up?
Well, it was when Adam was 3 years old. We were in Minnesota visiting family there, and we were riding to church, and his Aunt Marge said, "Adam, look at that combine." And Adam says, "Aunt Marge, that's a swaffer. Don't you know nothing?" And Adam was only 3 years old, but I think he started talking when he was about 6 months. I don't know. And that's one I'll never forget. And then my wife and I both born and raised on farms, and Adam is on a farm, and I guess that kind of, and besides that, he's the oldest grandchild, so that's kind of what I can visualize different things that we're doing. Well, I go help on the farm now and then, or mostly just watch, and that is what I remember of Adam in his real young years. So.
Do you remember meeting Molly?
Yes. I was visiting the Davis family, and Sunday morning we went to church, and Molly met us there from her place at the church, and yeah, that's the first time I met her.
What did you think about her when you first met her?
Well, after visiting with her a while, I felt like I've known her for years. She's just that easy to get acquainted with.
What does Adam mean to you?
Well, he was the first grandchild. And like I say, he lived in the rural area, and I don't know, I love my other grandchildren just as much, but he was just, something that I could relate to. And that's about it.
Do you have any advice that you would love to give to the couple?
Well, love each other and love the Lord, and things will be good.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Is there anything else I should ask?
I don't know, Adam had Grandpa wrapped around his finger, and he would go out and ride tractors with him, and he loved to show Grandpa his farm, so you could talk a little bit about that.
What about Adam?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'd usually go up there every harvest and just watch. And I got to ride with Adam on a combine when he was, I don't know, not very old, but he was really a good driver and paid attention to what he was doing. And so I enjoyed that. And also my wife, Norma, got to ride with him too, and of course, she grew up on a farm too, so that's what I liked.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Everyone talks about a family tree, but I had a thought. Metaphorically, take that tree and turn it upside down. Now you're really looking at the roots of a new plant that has just sprouted. The new plant being the life that Adam and Molly are just starting. Some of the roots of this new seedling take hold in the pictures that you're looking at. This oldest picture goes back to somewhere around the 1930s. It goes back to Adam's great-great-grandpa Elmer and great-great-grandma Frankie. It was taken, you can see it was taken in the 60s, but you can see that the farmhouse has long been abandoned. Elmer and Frankie moved to the Peets area to farm and ranch, and this is the reason we're all still here.
Adam's grandma, Norma, who he called Mama, grew up on the Wolf Farm in Fulda, Minnesota. She enjoyed her childhood with 5 siblings. This picture highlights the barn where they all have memories of the dairy cattle. Adam's grandpa, Harlan, who he called Papa Harlan, grew up on the Boda Farm in Bodaville, Kansas, with his 2 brothers. Adam's grandpa often recalls stories of their pet pig, Porky, that they would ride around the farm on. He is always on the lookout for the same Oliver tractors that he can remember using on the farm.
Adam's great-grandparents, Bob and Dorothy, raised my dad and his brothers in this house. When Mom and Dad got married, Bob and Dorothy built a new house in another location, moved out, and Mom and Dad moved in. Jason and I spent our childhood here. This is the farm that Elmer and Frankie moved into, I think back in the 50s. I could be wrong. Anyway, when I was in junior high school back in the 1980s, Mom and Dad and Jason and I moved into this house.
This is the farm that Brent and I moved into when we were first married. This is also where we brought Adam, Sarah, and Matthew home to from the hospital when they were born, and the kids spent most of their childhood here.
This farm is where Adam's great-grandparents, Bob and Dorothy, built their new house back in the 70s. They lived here until they passed away in 2011 and 2012. Bev and I were able to buy it, and this is where we are currently living. Mom, Dad, and I built this house back in 2002-2003, and it is where Adam's grandparents, Marcia and Dave, live.